Hello everyone, this is a special Tegrity designed to help you with your research paper. I'd like to go over, here's where you find it, cultural papers 1 and 2. Your research paper, let's look at the topic. In this paper you will choose a Francophone country that you would like to visit. So Francophone means speaking French. It includes, but is certainly not limited to, France. You will do research into at least 2 aspects of that country's culture. It could be, for example, art and dress, or architecture and food, or literature and politics, or a social issue and education. You are all individuals coming at this paper from your individual cultural, educational backgrounds. With these very simple seeming categories, you will all be developing very interesting, much more complex papers. Nevertheless, this is a simple paper in that the challenge in all papers is to develop your own main idea, your thrust. Some people say argument, which can be a bit misleading because then it sounds like you have to be arguing a point. And that's what it is. You're arguing a point. You have a point to make, and you're going to argue with a certain strategy. I have 3 different approaches to argue my point, as opposed to just talking without any real point, saying whatever detail comes to mind. That's not what a paper is. This is usually the hardest part of the paper because you don't really develop your article's argument until you've done a significant amount of research and development and thought on the idea. Well, the good news is here your argument is kind of suggested to you. You're arguing why you would visit a country. I've had students that also in the past argue why they wouldn't visit a country, and that can be a very engaging approach too. But basically, this is the argument, is you're going to do research, and I'm going to show that hows and whys in just a bit. Based on factual evidence, you are going to explain why you would visit the Francophone country you have chosen. So basically, you're explaining your choice, and as you explain why you would visit, then you're using the research that you've done to show why, and that research is showing me how you've developed your topic. It's not just the facts that interest me. It's you, your interpretation of the facts, even your very choice, the facts that you choose. That's research. The fact that you look at a paper with all different types of information on a country and you single out 2 types of information, that's already research. And then how you tie that information to what you already knew and to what you didn't know. As you write on that, you will be sure to be writing a paper that can't be traced back to the research in terms of quoting it exactly. It's not just your ability to research. It's your ability to respond to the research, to interpret in your own voice with your own ideas. That can't be copied from someone else. That's your own original, authentic creation of new perspectives. And I love it because I've lived in France for 10 years. I've done my own research on France. I've had my own experiences. Every time I read a student's paper, I will learn France all over again because I'm learning it from your eyes, from your perspective. Guidelines must show proof of factual knowledge of the Francophone country. Your proof is based on your ability to write out a clear bibliography based on credible pieces of information, a bibliography as well as your footnoting, if you have a quote in the article or if you're using facts and the facts came from a certain database, so then even if you don't quote it directly, you do have to either put a footnote or in parentheses the page number. That documentation, the proof of factual knowledge, is going to be articulated as either the MLA style, the APA style, or the Chicago style. Okay, so I believe All of you need to do this. Not Google. You need to do this. CCDC. And then CCDC, current students. As a current student enrolled in this course, you have a CCDC photo identification. That is essentially your library card. And the librarians have given you, not only, they all give you their email information to contact them with questions, research consultation. They also give you Ask Us Now. This service, if they're not on call, some other librarian around the country or even around the world is on call to answer your questions 24/7. How do I? How do I find a book? How do I find articles? How do I get a library card? How do I cite? It's all there. And if you take the time, if you don't know this, and you take the time to learn this, that makes my simple little cultural paper 1 much more than a grade for your French 101 online course. It makes this a major milestone in your academic career. How do I cite? How do I write a paper? How do I evaluate sources? You can skip this if you promise to sign into the library and work only with library online sources. The evaluation of sources is only important if you're going out into the World Wide Web, where you have, some people who know what they're talking about, and some people who don't know what they're talking about, publishing information. If you stay within the CCBC library database, especially for this project, you can assume that you're reading what people have written based on institutional, fact-based knowledge. You're reading people with PhDs or with masters in their field. You're reading papers written by professors. You're reading papers written by CIA analysts. You're writing papers by journalists who are writing from an accredited, journalistic organization with an editor. So you can just assume it's gold as long as you stay within the library database and resource archives here. You do want to check that it's current. How do I do research? Sometimes, this is a bit counterintuitive, you should start research by writing about what you know already. You really don't know what you don't know until you explore what you know. You want to make sure that you're not doing research just to confirm what you already know. That's just bland, blah, blah scholarship. You want to do research to go beyond what you already know. You may be passionate about Haiti or about architecture in Mali, or you've already traveled extensively in Belgium or in Cameroon. Write down what you already know, which is probably what determined you to go to this topic. And then look at where, if you were really pressed, where you have some weak spots, where you're really not knowing as much as you would like to know. And that's where you find your topic, essentially your reason for why you want to visit this country or this part of the world, and the essential question that you want every single click to answer. And you may find that some of the clicks, as we do our research online, don't answer the question but lead to new questions, and maybe that would be as a topic or a new subtopic in your paper. Develop a research plan. Well, go back to what we looked at before, the scope of the paper. You want to explain why you want to visit such a country. And now, now I'm going to just go back. I want to show you whether you decide to use these tabs up here under research, or whether you decide to use this getting started, where once again you have books and media, article databases, or, again, research guides. And this Countries and Cultures has been developed with your cultural paper 1 in mind. Or whether you go down here, you're probably going to end up in Cultural Diversity or Countries and Cultures. I highly recommend Global Road Warrior, Britannica Country Comparison, I also like, general purpose. I like Credo and Britannica Online and JSTOR. I like as well the countries and cultures because that has been really developed just for you. It's a wonderful mold for you. So I go to research guides, countries and cultures. This is it. This is for you. And go books, articles, or websites and citation help. It's all been developed for you. Remember, stay inspired, stay original, take the time to do the research. The writing will just fall into place if you have a bunch of jewels to string along and make a beautiful necklace. Enjoy the work. I can't wait to read your work.